Okay, so we're going to look at multiplying numbers in a new way using an area model. So when we're talking about area, we can take a look at area of a rectangle, which would be base times height, or you can also say length times width. So we're going to look at each of these numbers that I have as multiplying a base times a height, or multiplying a length times a width. So say 31 is my base and 21 is my height. We're going to draw a rectangle and solve by splitting up these numbers and then putting them all back together again. So if I say 31 is my base, that's the length here is 31, but we're going to break it up into chunks. So I'm talking about like how many tens do I have? I have 3 tens, so that's 30 and 1. And then I have 2 tens and 21. 2 tens is 20 and 1. So it's kind of like looking at it like this, saying I have 4 different rectangles that make up one larger rectangle. Well, this is a square in the bottom right because it has a base of 1 and a height of 1, so the area of that square is 1 unit. We could mark all these off and say how many units are in the whole thing, and it would be breaking it down even more, but we're not going to do that because we know how to multiply for rectangles. 30 times 20, base times height, gives me 600. And then this rectangle would have an area of its base times height, which is 1 times 20, an area of 20. And this rectangle would have an area of 30. So why we do that is to break it all up into smaller pieces, to separate, and then to gather them all back together at the end. And this is good for when we start using binomials and trinomials. We want to keep our like terms separate, terms that are unlike separated and terms that are like together. So we want to multiply them separately, and we're going to end up adding them all together at the end. You don't need to worry about the binomials and trinomials or any polynomials right now. We're just going to try it out using old-fashioned 2-digit numbers, and you're going to do this for the rest of the page to get practice on using just the area model and how it works and why it works that way. The reason why it works is because it's just breaking things up and piecing them back together. Taking areas of 4 separate pieces is the same as taking the area of the entire thing.